When learning any static skill, you're going to be working with hold times instead of repetitions. This is a little bit more confusing because you're probably used to working with repetitions either in weightlifting or a previous sport, but now you're working with hold times, so number of seconds you're holding a static skill. So a question I get all the time is, how long should I hold? As a general rule, you should hold 3 to 10 seconds when targeting strength. This is a high intensity type of training. You should be performing 10 to 25 second holds when targeting strength and endurance. So this is going to be longer hold times, so it's going to be lower intensity generally, but then higher volume because you're doing longer sets. So that's going to be more time under tension for a muscle because you're doing a static skill, so that means you're holding a position isometrically and you want to start increasing that hold time and that time under tension. You want to be performing 25-second plus holds when working purely on endurance. So this is generally going to be lower intensity, so something you can already do or you're using assistance and holding for 25 seconds plus. So again, working on endurance, so this is working on a movement you can perform with good form already, but you just want to increase your hold time. So you're not working on strength here, just endurance. So it should be noted, all different hold time ranges all increase muscle growth and muscle hypertrophy. This is because by training in different hold time ranges, these are going to be new stimulus for the body. So your body's going to be pushed into creating new adaptations, get you stronger, get you bigger, just by changing the different hold time ranges you're working in. So if you're working in only one range, if you've only been doing 5-second holds, switch it up, do 15-second holds. If you've only been doing 20-second holds, switch it up, increase the intensity a little bit and do 5-second holds. So let's give you an example. Let's say you're training the tuck planche and you're only able to hold 3 seconds unassisted. You would use a resistance band of appropriate assistance to do assisted tuck planche holds and stop 1 second before failure, and in week 1 you would do 12-second holds, 15 seconds in week 2, 18 seconds in week 3, 20 seconds in week 4, and potentially deload in week 5 if you are feeling sufficiently fatigued. So during these weeks you want to be training good form because you're using a band. You don't want to be getting into any bad habits just because you're using a band. So as you can see, in this period you would have been training in the 10 to 25 second hold time range. So this is for strength and endurance. Now during the next 4 weeks after coming back from your deload, if you were that fatigued that you had to take a deload, you would now start working on strength rather than strength and endurance. This means high intensity and shorter sets. This could look like 15 seconds in week 1 with the band you use for the longer holds, 10 seconds in week 2 with the next lightest band, 9 seconds in week 3 with the next lightest band, and so on and so on. So over these weeks where you're doing these assisted holds, I should say that you do want to train your unassisted holds, because there is this thing that occurs that when you keep using the bands and only do those kind of holds, you do get used to your body weight being elevated using a band. You also want to do this to make sure your wrists and your elbows are still conditioned to hold up your own body weight. So keep doing your handstands, keep doing some unassisted holds, once or twice a week as we mentioned. And if you do want to learn something like the back lever, the planche, the front lever, and you don't have a set of resistance bands, you do need it because these are going to help you learn the planche much faster. If you don't have any, check out Gore Nation. They have great resistance bands and they have full sets you're only going to need to buy once because these are going to last the entirety of your calisthenics journey. So just pay once and that's it. So guys, if you're looking for good resistance bands, check them out. Use the code JACK10 for minus 10% off as well. And let's carry on with the video. So now we know how long to hold our statics according to our goals of a training period. So the next question I always get is, how many sets do I do of this exercise? How many sets do I do of this hold? Generally, this is going to be between 10 to 15 sets per week for a particular skill that's targeting a particular muscle group. And why 10 to 15 sets? Well, this is really going to be dependent on your MRV. In other words, your maximum recoverable volume. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all the science of this terminology because I have broken this down in a full video. So if you want to watch that and learn more about these strength principles, then click here and watch through this video. So you want to make sure you're not training too hard, so the next week you're able to train harder. If you're training so hard that the next week you're getting weaker, then you're training way too much and you're over your maximum recoverable volume because you can't recover. That's basically the gist of it. And how many times a week should you train? Well, for beginners, 1 to 2 times a week is great because you want to be focusing on the straight arm conditioning exercises, because a lot of static skills in calisthenics, they're all straight arm skills. So that means your arm is locked out straight, a lot of tension on the bicep and the bicep tendon. So the elbow elbow and the wrists as well. So only 1 to 2 times a week so you can focus on those straight arm conditioning exercises. Trust me, this is going to put you miles ahead. And then only 1 to 2 times a week because we want to focus on the recovery, because the tendons and the connective tissues, they have lower blood supply to them, so they take longer to recover than muscle. Your muscle might be strong, but your tendons might be weak. For intermediates, 3 to 4 times a week is a really good sweet spot to be in. Now, to fast track how quickly you learn static skills, you want to select the correct exercises. So for beginners, I'd suggest start with your holds, either unassisted or assisted, then 1 to 2 dynamic exercises, then carry on the rest of your workout working on the basics, so either general weight training, bodybuilding, that kind of thing, or you can keep it strictly calisthenics, so your push-ups, your dips, your pull-ups. For intermediate and advanced athletes, you want to start off with your balance skills, like your handstand. You then want to go into your very hard and very taxing static holds. You then want to go into your dynamic exercises, so these are less intense and you're doing more of these for reps. If it's your triceps, for example, you can start working on tricep pushdowns with the resistance bands or diamond push-ups, things like that, to specifically target the triceps more. Your full workout should only be about 4 to 5 exercises. I found if you go over 5, you're likely doing too much in a week or too much in a workout where you're kind of throwing everything at the wall and it's not very specific to your goals. And you should only have about 1 to 2 static skill goals that you're focusing on, so your exercises and workouts can be very targeted. This is so the exercises you pick can be very specific to your goal, which is one of the fundamental strength principles that I've talked about in other videos. If you don't know what those are, check out these other videos that I've talked about the strength principles for calisthenics. So now you know how to program and how many sets and how long to hold for learning static skills as quickly as possible. But you might only be 1 tip away from learning that front lever or that back lever. So you want to click this video because I give you 21 reasons you might not be able to front lever yet, and that one reason might be the one you're missing to learn the front lever.